So I was wrong about Ace. Go figure. Today's video is going to be about me eating humble pie and talking about one of the best written characters in the series, Portgaz D Ace. Beforehand, I viewed Ace as a bratty teenager with daddy issues, who sacrificed his life for his pride, despite the fact that Whitebeard had previously sacrificed himself to ensure the escape of the Whitebeard pirates and Ace himself. I was really frustrated with that, and I really wondered, why would Ace be so selfish? Boy, was I wrong. It wasn't until I reread the end of Marineford and the ASL flashback where I realized I'd completely missed the structure of his character. I missed the intricacies in which Oda had written Ace to ultimately bring his character to a full circle by the time of his tragic death. Ace is introduced to us as the cooler, hotshot older brother who cares deeply about Luffy. But for the sake of this video, I think it's important to start at the very beginning. Born of a notorious criminal and a deceased mother, Ace grew up with an inferiority complex. Due to the words of a drunken stranger, Ace believed that his life was meaningless, that his life was a stain amongst humanity that needed to be purged if it were to ever come to light. One might ask, why would he believe the words of a total stranger that barely even knows him? Well, that's how I used to think. But that's exactly it. He is a child. He doesn't have the capacity to understand this. With that mindset of inadequacy and insecurity, Ace had severe trust issues that led him to believe that he was an extremely problematic and sensitive child not worthy of living. The beauty of that fact is that the relationships that he built in the future meant so much more to him because they would eventually fill in the gap and the holes that he had developed as a child based on his own view of himself. This fact will be very important later on in the story. Now, in order to frame this correctly, it's important to highlight the relationships that he built after these moments. And the first relationship that we see Ace build is with Sabo. Obviously, we're introduced to him and Luffy first, but his relationship with Sabo came first. Now, Sabo had similar feelings of loneliness that Ace had. His family only viewed him as a treasure piece, as something that could advance their careers, something that they could brag about to all the other aristocrats. And Sabo took that as them not caring about him as a son, not caring about who Sabo truly was, but what they could do for them. That's not a really good thing for a child to go through. Sabo felt worthless. He felt as though his life really meant nothing besides to satisfy the pleasures of his parents. It's safe to assume that these feelings of inadequacy, these feelings of worthlessness resonated with Ace, and they eventually bonded with each other and decided, let's set out to see where we can make something of ourselves without the prying eyes of our parents and those who judge us based on our own past and our background. Now that's beautiful because you see Ace establish a relationship in which he can have his full trust and love for somebody that he's never had before. One would argue Garp, but Garp was never really around for Ace to truly develop that connection that he needed. In comes Luffy afterwards. Luffy, in his case, is a little different. Luffy was attached to Ace from the very beginning. Now, if you take a look at the dynamic that Ace and Luffy had, Ace didn't like Luffy. Ace had trust issues to begin with, so why on earth would he trust a random bratty kid that's just clinging onto him for most likely superficial reasons? Ace did everything in his power to shake Luffy off. He insulted him, he almost let him die on multiple occasions. And even when Luffy finally caught up with Sabo and Ace, they decided whether they should kill him or not. That's how ridiculous it became, but obviously they were too innocent to kill people, so Luffy was spared. But the problem is Luffy had already seen their stash of treasure. Luffy had seen everything that they were trying to build up to escape their horrible worlds. And as a result of that, Luffy was captured because that money had been stolen from Blue Jam. Now this is very important. Ace's reaction to Luffy being captured was one of, we don't trust him at all. Makes sense, right? So we have to hide the money. And once Ace learns that Luffy still hasn't squealed despite being captured by such vicious pirates, Ace realizes, okay, we have to do something. And what Ace sees when he busts into the cabin in which Porshemi was torturing Luffy, he sees the brutality that Luffy had went through on behalf of Ace and Sabo. And that resonated with Ace. After Ace and Sabo had rescued Luffy, he decided to test him because he still had those trust issues that he developed as a child. He asked him, do you like me? Would you be sad if I died? These questions were very important because Ace had always had that feeling of Nobody ever wanted me alive. Nobody sees worth in my life. But the beauty about Luffy and his childlike faith and determination, it counteracted the stranger's words in the bar where he mentioned that Ace's life was meaningless, because now Luffy openly told Ace, your life holds meaning to me and I would rather die than have you hate me. To Ace, that was it. That was another relationship in which Ace said, okay, I trust you with my life. I didn't think I'd be able to find this type of relationship before. So now it's me, you, and Sabo. And that relationship meant everything to Ace. It started to fill in the hole that he felt as a child, where he felt as though no one ever wanted him alive. And see, the beauty of this characterization is that as you go on and you see the confrontation between Dadan, Blue Jam, and Ace, it was the moment where he refused to run away. That's when we really started to understand who Ace was at his core. And the beauty of that moment is right after that, we get an explanation when Dadan asks Ace, why didn't you run away? And he said these words, and these words resonated with me. And they really let me know that I had underestimated the character of Ace. Ace said, sometimes I get so angry and I feel like if I run away, I'll lose something I never could get back. And this time, Luffy was behind me. I don't know, but that's probably the reason. And in that moment, we felt everything that Ace was saying. I cannot let the person who decided to give me worth down. I will not let anyone lay a hand on them no matter what, because they have given my life meaning. And the beautiful part about this is later on we see a discussion between Garp and Dadan, where Garp then characterizes Gold Roger and relates him to Ace, and you see where Ace inherited all of those behaviors from. And I'll just read a little bit of what Garp said as well. Roger would stand his ground in the fight. Did he have a death wish? Knowing when to retreat is part of warfare. But maybe he wouldn't flee because the people he loved were standing behind him. Sounds like Ace and Luffy, right? That's beautiful. If he ran away, he'd be endangering his friends. But it might be more accurate to say it's not about pride alone. And this is where I get checked severely. He's making sure the enemy doesn't go after his friends. That is just beautiful. Because what happens is after we get that characterization, then we get to come full circle. Then we get to Whitebeard, where Whitebeard filled that hole, that void of fatherhood that Ace had been looking for his entire life, and he didn't even know it. What Whitebeard had given Ace was not just the fatherhood, the love, the care, the guidance, the mentorship, but he gave him a family of people that he could have that same type of trust and have that same type of meaningful interaction, where there is no longer just two people that view him as irreplaceable, but an entire crew of people that view him as family, as someone that they want to be alive. And as we know before, that means a lot to Ace, because let's be honest, Ace never truly got over his inferiority complex in regards to Roger. And this is where everything comes full circle. His decision to chase after Blackbeard could be considered something that was foolish. Even Shanks highlighted it when he interacted with Whitebeard on the ship during the first reverie that we'd seen in One Piece. However, this goes back again to the flashback, because Blackbeard had killed Thatch, one of those family members that Ace had held dear, one of those family members that gave his life worth meaning. Therefore, in that moment in time, based on the characterization that we had received based on Garp's words about Roger, it was impossible for Ace not to go after Blackbeard. It was the only choice that he had. Oda had written his character in a way where if he had not gone after Blackbeard, it would have been an insult to his character. It had to happen. And then we get to his tragic death, which I consider right now the saddest death in One Piece by a distance, and one of the saddest deaths in anime history. He turned back because of the characterization and the fact that Whitebeard had given him the sense of meaning. Akainu's words about Whitebeard were so egregious, so wrong, that Ace, even though Whitebeard had commanded him to run away for the sake of his crew and his life, said, there is no way that I will ever be able to live with myself if I turn my back on someone who has given my life purpose. I'd rather die. And he turned around and faced Akainu. And as a result of that, Akainu not only defeated Ace, but then went after another person who had given his life meaning. The one person who given him that feeling of my life is worth something, and that was Luffy. And he went after Luffy, and in that moment, he made the instant instinctual decision to sacrifice his life in order to save Luffy. Ladies and gentlemen, Oda knocked it out of the park with this one. He really did. Ace's character would have been absolutely annihilated if he had not made that decision to turn around and confront Akainu. Ace's character has a complete circle. It's a complete character. The way he started is the way he went out, just the way his father would have went out if he was in that situation as well. Ace is such a beautiful character, and he meant so much to Luffy. And Ace's death not only changed the era of One Piece in which we were in, but it also gave Luffy the understanding of the situation that he truly was in. He instilled in Luffy a drive that will never ever go out. And that is why Ace is one of the best characters in One Piece. Guys, thank you for your time. I really appreciate that. If you finished this video, please drop a like, drop a comment, let me know how you feel. If you want to slander me about hating Ace earlier, please, you have every right to. But guys, again, I thank you so much. More videos will be coming out like this, so stay tuned and subscribe, of course, for more content like this. That's it from me, guys. Take care.